Wow, we have someone joining from Ukraine. Hi, Jeff. Jeff is here from Women's Council. Tell us your full names if you can. We do have a giveaway at the end, and the most engaged attendees have a better shot. So make sure to put your name and where you're from as you're coming in. Hi, Lucy. Lucy's here from Houston. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Heidi. This is so exciting. Love it. It's 9 a.m. I'm going to give it 1 minute to let people trickle in, and then I'm going to get started. Diane is here from the Jersey Shore. Oh, wonderful. We have a lot of Women's Council presidents joining. Love it. Tamara from Miami. Hi, Shirley. Yes, this is a webinar. This is in the webinar format. So you're going to see our panelists in just a few minutes. And you can ask any of your questions on the chat here. Kelly from Idaho. Will says he's married to a president. That's the best. That's the best kind. Hi, Jennifer. All right. It is 9:01 and I am going to kick it off. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sanya. I am the co-founder of Radius Agent. Radius Agent and Women's Council have put together this amazing summit for you today. This is going to be our first session, and we are super excited to have you. Before we introduce our panelists, I am going to give you a quick overview of Radius. I'm going to give you the schedule for the day, and then we're going to just go over a few housekeeping items, and then we'll kick off the panel. So a little bit about Radius. Radius Agent is an organization that is a tech platform for the modern agent. So we believe our vision and our mission is to empower real estate agents to be their best selves. And we do that by giving them the tools to be independent. It's a suite of products. As you'll see here, one is Radius Community. So we have about 70,000 members nationwide that are part of the network. We power Women's Council networking and referrals. Which is our relationship with Women's Council, which is how a lot of you are here. Can everyone hear me okay? Just give me a yes if you can hear me. Okay, perfect. I saw one note saying you can't hear me, so I wanted to make sure. Perfect. So yes, so Radius Community is a 70,000 member nationwide network. And on top of this free network, we do have a suite of tools. This includes Radius Assist, which is an ISA program. So if you're generating online leads, we have a concierge team that qualifies these leads for you and sets you up with ready appointments. We have Radius Academy, which is a curated set of courses and events for you to join. And it allows you to keep improving in your work and provides a great set of knowledge. And then Radius Agent Realty, which is our latest offering. We just launched a virtual brokerage out of California and Colorado, which allows you to affiliate now directly with us as a brokerage. And our focus is providing you personal branding support. So we believe that agents do the work and they should be front and center. And so if you want to do that, this is a great offering for that. So this was a little bit quick about Radius. We've been around for 5 years and we're super excited for today. Let's get into the schedule for the day. So these are all Pacific times. Please remember that. I know you're joining from all over the United States, so you'll just have to be careful. We have the Women's Council panel right now at 9 a.m. Next, we're going to get into the keynote right after this. There's then a 15-minute break, and then we'll have a coaching session from Jan Copeland at 10:45. Then we'll have a Q&A with Roshana Scott. There's another 15-minute break, and then we'll have a panel, which is marketing every listing like it's a luxury listing. And then at the end, we have a small group Table for 8 networking event. What this is that once you join, you're going to be broken out into groups of 8, and it'll give you an opportunity to form relationships with realtors in a different city, state, and really allow you the opportunity to grow your network. With everything going on in the world right now, there's fewer opportunities for you to meet like-minded people, and we want to give you that opportunity with this last event. So with that, let's get into a quick housekeeping for the day. So you just joined this link, the same place you joined this link, radiusagent.heysummit.com. That's where you'll be easily hopping from one session to the next. At the end of each session, we are going to send you the Zoom link for the next one. But please just make sure if you're skipping sessions, etc., that you have this page open so that it's easy for you to go on from one session to the other. Like you have been already, just stay engaged through the day, chat in, talk to each other. This is a way for us to get to know each other. Like I said, it's harder now, and this is our opportunity. So we're super excited for you to actually get to see each other here. So keep chatting in and keep participating. If you do have questions, please hold those till the end, and our moderators will be picking them up before they get into the questions. Giveaways, this is something I think some of you may have already seen. So at the end of each session, we're going to have a Radius rep come in, and she's going to tell you a quick product highlight and then get into a giveaway. And we have some amazing giveaways today. There's a Lululemon gift card, there's a free coaching session, a lot of amazing stuff. I already went over Table for 8. Stick around for that. That is definitely something we're super excited about. You're going to be going over a rose, a bud, and a thorn for each of you. What's going well, what could be going better, and what you need some help on. So it'll be a super, it'll be great engaging exercise for all of you. So with that, I think I've covered the initial stuff, and now we'll get into introducing the panel. So I am going to introduce Kate. Kate is a realtor at WK Real Estate out of Denver. She became a realtor about 4 years ago, but she's already done so much. She's a successful realtor in the Denver market, and she is the president of the North Denver Women's Council Network. So we're super excited to have Kate, and she is going to kick us off into the panel.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is a huge honor to get to moderate a panel of 3 of the best in the business, 3 leaders within the Women's Council Realtors. So as she shared, I'm Kate Kelly with WK Real Estate, office out of Boulder, Colorado, and I service the entire area between Denver and Boulder. So we're going to introduce our panelists this morning. We have Brenda Lee. And Brenda Lee is our current president for the Women's Council of Realtors. She is in Michigan with Real Living Key Realty.
That's right. Hello, hello. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, I'm Brenda Lee Schlachta. I am the 2020 president of the Women's Council of Realtors. But from this perspective, I am with Real Living Key Realty, and I am the vice president of agent development. We have 450 agents with 11 offices, so we have our hands full, and I'm ready to share.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Brenda Lee. Next up, we have Sylvia Siebold out of Texas with Dream Connectors Real Estate Group.
Hey, Kate, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I am the jack of all trades perspective. I am practicing a realtor, co-owner of a boutique brokerage, and, you know, counselor, psychologist, all those things we do in real estate.
Absolutely. And our third panelist today is the one and only Carrie Jo Little. She's the broker owner of Caremark Realty Group in Illinois.
So good morning, everyone. Yep, that's me. I am Carrie Little, the co-owner of Caremark Realty Group in a city called West Chicago, Illinois, not the West Side. And my primary focus is really on running the company. But when I started real estate in 2001, I was typically a residential realtor.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I'm looking forward to this conversation. To start us off, what percentage of your business do you think comes from referrals? and that is with other agents across the nation or from past clients.
I'll start. I've been a licensed realtor for 30 years, so I'm proud to say that my business is 100% referral. So it's a very important part of the puzzle for my business model.
Awesome. Carrie, what about for you?
Well, so when I started, 100% of my business in 2001 was all referral. I was the real estate agent. I called it the friend hustle. Before I got licensed, I called all my friends, I called all my family, and I was like, I'm going to be a real estate agent. I need you to wait. So for the first few years, I got most of my business from referral. Now that shifted when I started really producing, and it went to about 90% because I started walking my own neighborhood and doing direct mail. So pre-social media. Today, I would say 80% of the business would come from referral, and then 10% from social media, and then the other 10% from direct mail, because I still do direct mail.
Nice that you know your numbers. There you go. Sylvia, what about for you?
Well, I'm not as versed in everything as Carrie, but mine is 100% referral business, either from a past client, they're buying something new, they've referred me to someone, or another realtor, or industry expert referral that has come my way. I did have a few years ago, I got a random sign call, which skewed my numbers for a couple of years, but 100%.
Awesome. That is something we're all striving for, is 100% referral business. So how do you ensure that your clients continue giving you referrals after the deal is closed? Carrie, let's start with you.
Okay, so for me, this is really simple. And number one, we send out a monthly mailer to all of our current clients, past clients, and then my referral network, the people that would likely refer business to me. So they get an update of the market. We use a tool called InfoSparks in Illinois, which is Market View in other states. And then they also get, it's either a newsletter or some type of item of value. So a monthly mailer to keep in touch with those clients. And then we also use our email marketing to follow up. So they get an email and a direct mail piece.
Each month.
Each month.
Nice. Sylvia, what about for you? What are some creative ways that you stay in touch with your clients to ensure you'll get referrals?
So I do, I have like a top 25 list, and in my top 25, I readjust the names on that list every single year. To be on that list, you had to have 2 closings towards me in that past 2-year period. Whether it's you sold your house and you bought another house, or you referred me to multiple people, however it works out. And so those people, they get monthly pop buys, and it could be anything, really anything, gift wrap at Christmas time. So when they run out or whatever. Everyone else, it's pretty much a email campaign, as well as I do a lot of texting, actually. Texting seems to work really well with my people, especially a Happy New Year text to everyone in my database works phenomenal, because everyone wants to know at the beginning of the year, what's my market value? So.
And the rate for opening text messages is so much higher than emails.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just getting bombarded with junk emails, it feels like. So very creative. Brenda Lee, what about you? How do you ensure that your clients will be giving referrals after the transaction?
We have something called the 29 Hits program, and our agents are encouraged, I'm encouraged to put our closed clients on this database, our CRM, and then we have a system that is something that's automatically managed, whereas the consumer gets 6 postcards a year, and we've got them spaced out, and they change topics, change up. They get 2 newsletters, one in June and one in December, and that's going to be the ones that give that the market update. With regard to market update, they also get every month an email newsletter. We encourage phone contact through the course of year. And then, of course, we also do 7 client events. that we invite everyone to, just to come together, have a good time. Now, I will admit it's been a little bit of a struggle this year with the way the world is, but it has been very, very successful for us in the past, and we anticipate it continuing to be successful as we go forward. So we have a system, 29 hits.
Awesome. Systems and processes. I love it. That's speaking my language. So since Brenda Lee, you kind of mentioned it with the pandemic, how has your business shifted, or how have you pivoted within your business to keep providing that value to past clients and agents across the nation who have sent you referrals?
Well, I think everyone would agree that we have completely embraced the virtual world. And that, I think, is the big piece. Now, in Michigan here, we were already using it, not to the extent that we use it now, but it is a matter of reaching out to your consumer and making sure that they see you and are aware of you. So it is all about Zoom right now. That's the big pivot. That's the adjustment that has been added, in my opinion, based on the world we're living in right now.
Mm-hmm. And Carrie and Sylvia, what about for you? Anything, has your approach changed at all in handling your referrals since the pandemic?
No, well, the direct mail, no. But I will say, because we had in Illinois, the stay-at-home order started in March. What we've done, and when I say we, I could be talking about my husband and I, because he really does still sell real estate, or the agents in the office. I have been pushing the agents, and one of them is watching right now, Sheena, to do video. No pressure. So we have been, I've been very intentional. So even if you were to look at me on social media, every Friday I go live at 9 a.m. Central Time. And then I have been doing one video, a 60-second video every week to reach the consumer. And I take that same content and I put it on Facebook, and I also put it on YouTube, because I know my network, and I'm the older group. And so I know my network is truly on Facebook. And when we say referral, my referral business, I do get most of my business from referral, but I also know they need to see me. So I think it might've been Sylvia or Brenda saying we still have to talk on the phone. Yeah. I'm not the phone person. Mark is. He is really great on the phone, but I know if people see me on social media, it works. So that pivot for me was, I needed to be more intentional on getting myself out there with video, because people will comment, they'll talk, but when they see you, they can relate. And then it causes the DM, the direct message.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think you're going to have such better results when you're doing it with intention, instead of that obligation of like, oh God, I have to go live. It's like, no, create the content, create the value, and then go. So Sylvia, has anything changed in your business with your approach for handling referrals since the pandemic hit?
The only thing that's really changed for my business is I decided early on that I was going to walk or run, and pretty much do that almost every single day. But I made the intention that when I walk out the door, if someone's not on my mind, I will play what I call phone roulette. And it's where I'm like, okay, 8's the magic number, and I'll hold my phone. I'm gonna scroll down 8 screens. And then I'm like, okay, there's 10 names showing. I'm gonna call one of them. And just make an intent to actually pick up the phone and call, because I'm like Carrie, and my phone, it's not really supposed to make phone calls. It's just my little miniature computer that's in my pocket, because I don't like talking on the phone. So it's pushed me out of that box a little bit.
Really? It's really sad. So I'm glad I have a Mark, Sylvia.
Oh my gosh.
I agree with you 110%. That is a little computer in actually, I wear it around my shoulder almost. But the truth of it is that phone is still valuable, and making the calls, I have to bring it back to that. That personal connection, I still think, is important.
I've got to echo what you say there, Brenda Lee. I feel like I'm one of the only millennials that loves phone calls. Like, hey, it's me.
My son loves the phone. My son. There's one of my children that want to talk to you.
Oh, that's good. Getting calls from the family.
It's shoes come back in style. The kids are starting to make phone calls.
Yeah. Watch out for it. Your phone's going to start ringing after this panel. On a fun note, can each of you share one of your favorite referral stories and your main takeaway? Sylvia, let's start with you.
Oh gosh, you would start with me because I have
Sorry.
two favorites. I was thinking about this and I have two favorites, but I'm gonna go with the oddball one because I think that someone else will have like one that's similar to my other referral. I was talking to a lender and they're like, you do a lot of traveling, you know a lot of people. And this was not my number one go-to has my own mortgage lender. This was a different lender that I usually use occasionally. And he said, do you happen to know a really good agent in Austin? And I was like, actually, I do. He's like, well, can you get me in touch with them? And I was like, actually, I can. Do you mind if I pass that referral for you? I didn't even know the client. This is the importance of this. I didn't even know the people's name, never talked to them. I handled that realtor to realtor and passed that referral to them and got over $3,000 in a referral check for this transaction of passing a name. And I was like, I really need to do that more often. And I think all of us, it's a learning lesson for all of us to really engage with our people because we are out there and getting to know other realtors when we're referring or when we're at conferences or even here live, we're seeing all our friends comment and everything. We need to be more active with our vendors that we use locally because they might have, this happened to be that he wanted to do the loan. He did the loan here for another city, but it was a nice payday for me and a good learning lesson.
Nice. The connector. All right, Brenda Lee, what is your favorite referral story or your main takeaway from a referral that you've had in the past?
Well, I'm going to go with the takeaway piece of it. I want to make sure that everyone understands that there should be no connection to the dollar amount that's coming in from the referral. We need to make sure that we work with people who need us, do a great job, et cetera, et cetera. And I often think I'm speaking to the choir, but I'm just going to say it anyway. And the story that I'll tell is when I started into the industry, I was working up a referral base for myself. And I sent letters out to everyone. And one of my sisters, one of my sister's friends, who was 17 at the time, ended up having to move and her mother needed help. So they called me, they were buying a little tiny baby house. And I'm like, no problem, I'm your gal, let me help you. Fast forward in time, 30 years later, that little 17-year-old girl has purchased and sold through me. And I'm not even talking about the family. I'm just going to talk about the 17-year-old girl who ended up purchasing homes through me. I'm going to say maybe 7 of them. And she is currently living in a home right now that I sold her with an indoor built-in pool. So I'm just going to put it in perspective.
Nice.
That little tiny $40,000 house turned into a lifelong relationship, and it just went crazy from there. So referrals are the key.
Awesome. And Carrie, do you have a story you'd like to share? One of your favorite referrals?
Yes, I have several. Like Sylvia, I'll go with my favorite. So when I got involved in Women's Council, I didn't really understand the value until national. So I met this woman by the name of Chris Lee. And I mean, we talked, and let me say this, for those of you that go to the national events, even though we're virtual right now, make it be intentional on meeting people and not just meeting them and getting the card, although it's not a business card right now. Be intentional to get to know them. So we got to know each other, and Chris sent me a referral not too far from me in a city called Lombard, Illinois, and I listed the property. There's a bigger story to this. DM me, you'll get the full story. I listed the property. I sold it for close to ask, which was $500,000. And when I tell you there's more to the story, and then I'll say this, the wife bought another house through me. So, and then in addition to that, Chris was like, oh, I didn't expect 2 checks. I was like, well, why wouldn't you? That was 2 referrals. So she got 2 referrals from me. Since then, that buyer still communicates with me via email because she gets the monthly email. And then from that, Chris was the person that also helped me open my own company. So it was bigger than just the referral. So that's one of my favorites.
Nice. I did not know that story. Shout out to Chris Lee. Awesome. What technology, if any, are you using to help facilitate more referrals? Start with Brenda Lee.
Oh gosh, well, I was going to actually go to Carrie. Is what we have. It's systems for me. You know, when we talk about technology, I lean to systems. But of course, Radius. Got a shout out to Radius, right? Absolutely, Carrie.
I'm going to go traditional because I posted this question for the real estate agents in our office. I'm going to go. We use Workplace, which is Facebook's business platform. And the agents work with each other and they'll say, I need a referral. So the agents learn how to work the referral business within Workplace. Then in addition to that, we use the Women's Council website. So even if I see people talking online, I then would push them to the Women's Council website. And my husband would say, pick up the phone. This is the technology. It's really, Sylvia's right. It's really building the relationships.
You know, it's funny you said that because I had somebody ask me who wants me to do a presentation on the top technologies. And it is funny that everything comes from the phone. I mean, okay, here I'm going to tell you about your phone. I mean, it's true. That's where it's at.
Sylvia, anything special for technology that you're using to keep in touch with your referrals or generate more?
So something I'm doing that's kind of borders probably a lot of Carrie's stuff with social media is I started a VIP group in Facebook for my, like I referenced earlier, my top 25. And I will do things in there occasionally, like, you know, post a Starbucks gift card and say, go grab coffee on me. There's, you know, $25 left. And all they're doing is they're showing the picture, they're scanning it at Starbucks and they're getting a free coffee or whatever. And just generating more interest in that VIP group because energy breeds energy. And so all these past clients start thinking like, oh my gosh, I saw my friend and they're talking about buying a house. I gave them your number. And then someone else wants to comment on that. And so it's just building that energy of those past client referrals from doing something like that.
Let me add this to, and I'm going to use Sheena because she actually really does sell. What I've noticed with her, she's a connector. So she will on social media shout out the vendors that she works with. And she does post her client testimonials on social media. And because of it, she has become the go-to referral person to the point where I believe it was 2 referrals that came from outside of the country.
Wow.
Nice.
So showing people what you're doing, and that it's not just about you. It's not just about you.
You know, I also think, and I think we've said it and I'll say it again, that this is a relationship business. So I think the bonus of being able to use our phones to do a brief, do FaceTime or send a message using your face as opposed to just a voice call, I think that's very helpful as well too.
Mm-hmm. How fortunate are we that the pandemic hit in 2020 instead of 2003 when we didn't have video conferencing and we all would have been stuck at home.
In trouble. Email, fax.
It's pretty good. It happened this time, and so let's go to Brenda Lee. We're gonna switch it up a little bit for advice for new agents.
Oh,
what do you tell new agents who don't have past clients? How do you encourage them to build their referral business?
well, you know, first off, the first thing I have to tell a new agent is no one ever said that success is going to come easy. Okay. It takes drive, it takes ambition, and it takes hard work to accomplish what you're trying to do. Okay. So let's just be real. So what I have them do is as I've already mentioned earlier in the top of the hour, we talked about this 29 hits program. So it's about developing your database. So we track them down. I want their names, their address, their phone numbers, their email. Carrie made a mention of this as well. Where are they hanging out on social media? Carrie said her world is in Facebook, right? Someone else's world may be more of a Snapchat world or something like that. So we want to determine where the people are, who the people are, and then it is a matter of putting them into a database, right? Your CRM, a good system. I'm all about the systems. Set it and forget it kind of thing. And then you do the follow-up, right? So once you do something, what are you going to do next? There needs to be a follow-up. So you need to have content things such as that. So from my perspective, when I'm working with brand new people who come into my industry, it is all about finding who your sphere of influence is. I said it, it's old school, I get it, but I'm telling you, your business is about the future. I always say that we're going to be able to close this deal, but it's the referral business you get from each one of your deals that is going to keep you in this industry with longevity. So it's about developing these relationships and getting to really, really focus on them. And again, it's about developing the systems, couple that with you're nurturing a relationship, and they're good to go. It's about getting the people engaging.
Can I just add to Brenda's, because I get a lot of new agents, especially under the age of 30. So we do a 6 weeks drip campaign through our CRM, and they have something they have to do for the first 6 weeks. In addition to everything Brenda said, you got to get everyone into your client relationship management tool. So I was doing this pre-pandemic. I was scripting the agents every week to go do a video. Now there was panic in that because some of them were like, no way, it's not happening. But for the few agents that did, and I have one, Darenika, that was started doing this, she started to get deals from doing the scripted video just by realizing that her network was actually on Facebook. So everything Brenda said, and then throwing in the learning at the same time.
Excellent.
Nice. A question for Sylvia is, how has your community involvement, whether it's within your local community, Women's Council, or other Realtor initiatives, helped you get more agent referrals?
Well, I feel like that's the story of my life, because it's just the relationships you build by going to conferences, getting to know people, and, knowing like Brenda's grandbabies, and, knowing Carrie's family and following them on Snapchat. And, we had a call yesterday and her son walks by and I'm like, I've seen him before, because we've seen him before. We see him on Facebook and everything else. So it's getting to know people and building that relationship, because it's like the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And if you invest in those relationships, the business is going to come. I get so many more referrals that I don't touch because I'm passing them on, because for some reason, everyone thinks that I cover the entire state of Texas. Texas is actually a really, really big state. And so someone will call me and say, hey, will you sell in Galveston? And I'm like, yeah, I am licensed, so I could sell in Galveston, but that's 5 hours on a good trip away. So no, I'm not going to sell them, but I would refer you, and I would tell them who I would refer them to. But that's what this is. I definitely pass on more referrals than I actually keep for myself, but it's not just Women's Council. I mean, Women's Council is amazing because it's the biggest boost of my business. But even just last week, there was a major investor group I'm in, and all of a sudden you're doing something and your phone starts blowing up and you're like, what happened? Was there like some major news alert or something? And it's because all these people you've built a relationship with are tagging you in a Facebook post because you are the perfect realtor for this referral that they have. And it turns out I actually lived in the subdivision where this referral was. And it was such an easy, it wasn't even a sell, because it was a referral, and a very warm referral. It wasn't just like a cold type of lead or anything. So invest your time in building those relationships, whether it's with Women's Council, your Chamber of Commerce, your HOA, whatever it is. I cannot stress how important the power of relationships is.
It's so true. The trust is built in,
Absolutely.
So
and
true.
It's so much more fun to do business with a warm introduction than an ice cold lead.
Yes,
absolutely.
We have a relocation department, and I get calls probably a couple of times a week. Who do you know? Who do you know? And it's because I am part of a bigger world than my little part of Michigan. So it happens all the time, and I love it. And I love that I can say to Sylvia or Carrie or Kate or whomever, because I know they're in that state. If you don't know somebody, if it's not you, who is it? And I love that I have that opportunity to reach out and share good real estate practitioners with people who ask for my help.
And it's not even just that. I can't tell you the number of times I would pick up a phone. Actually, I'd probably text, let's be honest. Someone would ask me like, who do you recommend in Timbuktu, Michigan? And I'm like, I don't even know where that is. So
Brenda.
I would text Brenda. I would text Brenda, come on. I would text her and Brenda would tell me, well, it's this person or whatever. And then I go back. And so that's two people that have a relationship based on an organization that we both serve in that aren't touching this referral at all. We're just passing it along because of the relationships we build. And that is what is so amazing about actually taking the time to invest in those relationships.
So true.
Yeah, I've given away so many referrals from a guy by the name of Matt DeFanis. He calls me like, Carrie, where can I send this to? It might not be an agent in my office. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I've got to do a quick plug for Sylvia. You are totally the connector. I mean, I think I needed an agent in one of the Carolinas, and I'm like, Sylvia, who do we know in the Carolinas? Like, so far from her market, but she's just got such good connections. So leverage that. If you've got good relationships with folks, even if it's a couple marketplaces over, still reach out to them. Quick question for Carrie is, how have you leveraged social media? You've already shared a little bit. To continue improving your referral business for you and your company?
So again, I stopped recruiting in March, and I shouldn't have, but I needed to adjust a little bit when I say recruiting new agents, because I still do direct mail. And I became very intentional on going live every Friday on Instagram. Every Friday, 9 a.m. on Instagram, I go live to teach you something. And I really am big on video. Now there is a benefit. I used to edit television for a living, and I'm on radio every other week. So I get to talk a lot, but I was also a cheerleader. So I'm always good with just talking a lot and not letting anyone talk, as some of you know. So I am big on video. So a good example would be back in 2016, I did a 2-minute video. Some of you may have seen it if you've ever heard of Marky Lemons, because I'm the video she uses. So my one quick 2-minute video generated business from people I already knew. And that same video kept getting more business. And that 2-minute video was me talking about how to buy a house. If you were a college student, how to buy a house. I talked about closing cost credits. And I mean, literally within that same day, I had a friend reach out to me, and he bought his first house, and I closed 1.9 million from a 2-minute video. So if you put out great content, business begets business. Now, some of the other new tools that I've been using, because I do have an opportunity to educate on Women's Council's back end, even today at 4:00 for California. And I always push and talk about the Radius platform, because it is it's like using Facebook, but it's just for us. And it's a great way to connect. So if you are a Women's Council member, if you have access to Radius, you're here as a guest, I would tell you, leverage that, because when I started using it, I realized no one was really using the tool to its fullest capabilities. And it's like having social media just for members.
Mm-hmm. The Radius platform is incredible. I just got a referral through the Women's Council on Radius on Friday. So it's kudos. Real quick, before we open it up to Q&A for all the participants, is from each of the panelists, we would love to hear one piece of advice that the participants can immediately implement before the end of the year to generate more referrals for the coming year or before the holidays, what have you. Let's start with Brenda Lee.
Well, as it relates to the holidays, what I want to make sure everyone does and realizes that you shouldn't let up. Okay, you have to stay engaged. I mean, this time of year, it's already happening. People are already settling down. They're like, okay, it's the end of the year. It's not the end of the year. It is still time to work and stay at it. And I also want to make sure that when I say work and stay at it, you have to make sure that that everyone knows you are available. So you don't need to be a secret agent. You're out there, you're working hard, you're still pushing. I do more business in February, close more business in February because of what I do in November and December. So I think my tip is just stay at it. Nurture your past clients. don't don't rest now. You don't rest now. The finish line is still ahead of you.
Awesome. Sylvia, do you have a piece of advice for the panelists?
My piece of advice is to be thankful, be grateful. Like the Thanksgiving season is right upon us. And one thing I do every year is with my top people, they get a pie. They get a choice of a pecan pie, or if you're in other parts of the country, pecan pie or pumpkin pie. And
Or sweet potato pie, depending.
All right.
yeah.
Could be.
So, and they get a choice, and then I deliver it the day before Thanksgiving. It's one less pie they have to make for their family. I get to come and deliver it at their house at a, time when they're extra grateful and thankful. They're appreciative of it. And then as they're having pie with their family, they're remembering that I made that easier for them. It was just one little thing, and they look forward to it every single year, getting the pie. I do apple pies in July, different timing, but it's be consistent. Number one, don't stop because it didn't work the first time, because it will work. It pays off. And so just be super grateful. And if you don't have the budget to do pies, do something else. Just pick up the phone. Yeah, it's me telling you, pick up the phone. And you can text that you're grateful for them and everything. It's been a hard year for everyone. There has not been a single person out there that 2020 has not been challenging for. So take the opportunity to thank everyone and just be super appreciative, because they're going to remember it. And I think there's a stat out there, every 16 days, people forget what you do. So be consistent.
Yeah.
Like, remind them that you're in real estate gently.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Carrie, before we open it up to Q&A, piece of advice for participants?
I'm just going to tell everyone I'm going back to the pies. I already told Mark we're going back to the pies. we're passing out pies. But even this weekend, whether you celebrate Halloween or not, depending on your city or your state, some are still allowing the trick-or-treating. What could you do? You could go get the doorknob bags and stuff them, because all of the parents are opening the bags right now because of COVID. They're checking everything. So could you come up with something creative to hand out, as opposed to just giving the candy? And I'm just going to tell you, I'm headed to Costco to get the big candy bars.
Yeah.
And then you put that in the bag with your information. They'll never forget you, because the parents are going to steal the candy bar. And every year I'm still traditional. I send out the calendar. Kate's going to start sending the calendar again. I hear that the New Year calendar still works. And yes, if you don't have a magnet on the front of the fridge, there's a magnet on the side of the fridge.
The side of the fridge.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, no.
notorious for the one and done. I sent out calendars once, got no return on it, so that's what they're joking about. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I should have stuck with it, because then the phone would have started ringing if I did it 2 or 3 years. So
They do work, Kate. They really, really work.
They do.
What I think works better than the calendars are the baseball and football schedules. I can't tell you, with the weird mix of COVID and how the seasons were going to be for football, how many people were calling me wanting to know where their football schedule was, or did I make them mad and they're not getting it this year? And I'm like, no, I just put it in the mail yesterday. They just came out because, it was crazy. I mean, you saw how baseball was this year, and football, it was in question. So they work really, really well.
Yeah,
And-
staying top of mind.
And don't forget those pop buys. I think that we talked about the pies, which everybody's doing the pies. We do that pie event as well. But I still think I call them raving fans. What did you call them, Sylvia?
They're just my VIP.
Top 25?
Yeah, my top 25 VIP.
I think you need to appreciate, to tie in everything that everybody said, I do think you need to appreciate those. And I do like the idea of the Popeyes and putting together a nice little package and just leaving them on the front porch. I just think that that's a really great idea, something to sort of sum up the end of the year. I like doing things in Thanksgiving as opposed to Christmas. There's so much going on at Christmas, and it is about appreciation. And so Thanksgiving tends to be a good time to do the Popeyes, and you still have time.
Yes, coming from a place of gratitude. Absolutely. So we went a little bit over on time, so we've only got time for one quick question here. And I think this one's a little bit directed toward Carrie, is what kind of content and subject matter do you find engages people the best when you're creating video?
When I'll go with when I teach you something, but I'll use my husband as an example. He has become obsessed with our garage. And so we built out a whole direct marketing campaign to give content that's in relationship to the home, but it's about the garage. So instead of always talking about your listings and your just solds, although that stuff does work, come up with something that you're passionate about and then talk about it. And ladies, guys, Home Depot, whatever, I live in TJ Maxx. You could go do a video on how to redesign a bedroom in TJ Maxx. That's the kind of stuff that I get so much more engagement on, not just real estate.
I think being your authentic self is very helpful when you're doing these videos. I think that I watch the ones that seem more realistic to me instead of staged or something. I'm like, what is happening there? I'm very engaged. And I find that once I'm engaged, the next time I see a video coming from Carrie, I'm going to be like, what are Carrie and Mark doing right now? My husband knows Carrie and Mark right now because it's like, oh my God, these two are so funny.
They're a riot. I remember I was at my first Women's Council conference. I took a PMN class that was taught by Carrie. And then it was like 30 minutes later, we had a break and the elevator door opens. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're Mark.
Yeah.
Wait, I know you. I think I know you. Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being part of this panel. Sonia, thank you for the opportunity to introduce Women's Council to some Radius folks that don't know about us. And then we're going to turn it over to Lily because we're told that they are going to do a little bit of a giveaway.
Yes, thank you, Kate. Let me share my screen.
Thank you.
Perfect. 1 second. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay?
Yep.
Perfect. So thank you, first off, thank you guys so much for joining us at the Radius Agent Summit. I've learned so many things myself, and I'm actually on more of the business realm of Radius Agent. So being so, I still got a lot of takeaways from you guys. And in terms of, again, our network, I highly recommend everyone to go download our app. It's completely free. And like the ladies mentioned today, you can easily network with other people, connect with other people. If you have a referral to send out to another state in a place that you don't know someone in, you can quickly chat someone here, post it out, and you will see a bunch of engagement and vice versa. This is a space for only agents and brokers. So all the content here is very much directed to you guys. We host events like this one, Radius Agent Summit. And again, you can find agents for referrals nationally, including exclusive Women's Council community and member finder. So if there's one thing to do, I would say download the app if you haven't already. And let's move on to the giveaway. I know you guys are anxious for that. So the first giveaway we're doing is the Bose speaker. And if I can get a drum roll from the back end, it will go to Vince McCamey. Congratulations, Vince. If you can put in the chat directly to only the panelists, your contact information, I will be reaching out to you and sending this over to you. And again, thank you so much. Right now, I'm actually going to share our next session link. So you guys can, if you haven't gotten the email through Hey Summit, please join the link through this. It might get you to, it might have you register again. However, it's this way you can get directly in. And again, like Sonia mentioned in the beginning, if you have the Radius Agent Hey Summit website up the whole time, as sessions come up, there will be a direct link that says watch now. So I definitely recommend having that there. Again, thank you ladies so much for joining us. We will see you all in the next session. Check the chat for the link to the next session, and we will see you very soon. Bye.